Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by the user Biscuits and Butters. I, 27 female, made a stupid joke to my husband, 30 male, and he stormed off. How do I fix this? Hey Reddit, I'm an Instagram snooper, so this is my first time here. I honestly never expected to post here because my husband, 30 male, and I, 27 female, have a great relationship. Of course, I can't say we haven't had our occasional bumps, but it's honestly a dream come true all the way through. Our wedding was in April last year, and we both cried like babies that day. And since then, the sailing has been smoother than soap. Then, this afternoon, we came home after a little lunch outing with our newly engaged friends Kai and Marie. It went great, but it was like just another outing, nothing special. Though we got some bomb pasta back home, which I'm currently shoveling into my gob since it's too chilly for ice cream. We live in a super tiny apartment, and so he showered first after I got the leftovers into the fridge and stuff. I went in after him, finished my shower, and put some lotion on my palm. I accidentally squeezed too much and dabbed some of it away. After I rubbed it on my face, I still had some leftover lotion on my finger, and I did exactly what any perfectly sane person would do. On my thumb, I whipped up a little smiley face and some spiky hair to create Lotion Man. I came out of the bathroom giggling about it and said something along the lines of, "Hey, look, it's Lotion Man!" He didn't really react, but just looked at my hand and blinked at me. I honestly was just goofing around and started making a silly voice and saying some random crap sprinkled with some inside jokes. I was babbling for about a minute before he just up and left. I was of course completely oblivious as he grabbed some of his crap, and I was just smiling and asking where he was going in a kind of playful way. He has a huge truck and we'd just returned from a trip, so he has enough stuff to last him weeks. So it didn't really dawn on me that he was leaving until he drove away. I honestly feel like Boo Boo the Fool for making such a stupid joke and then letting him leave just like that. I texted him a few times and he's just said he's thinking about things and that he's at his brother Tyler's place. I've been texting him non-stop, but he hasn't been responding or reading any of it. He also sleeps really early, so I doubt I can get in contact with him anytime soon. His brother isn't responsive either, so I'm just leaving my phone on the nightstand and holding my breath. I don't think it's really dawned on me yet. I stared blankly at the door for like 10 minutes before I got off my ass and actually tried contacting him. I've been with this man for years and I'm always cracking cheesy jokes. I feel stupid and like crap for making Lotion Man and continuing after no response instead of just shutting up and accepting that I'm unfunny. At the same time, I'm just confused. He's never been at this point, even in our rougher patches. The worst we've done is just take breaks from sex or just talk to one another a little less. Wasn't planning on getting into my sex life, but honestly, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm all for giving him space, but I can't say I'm not hurt he's just leaving. And the process of divorce is just so... I don't even want to think about this anymore. Was making Lotion Man as big of a mistake as I think it was? Any advice on getting him back home? Thanks Reddit. Also, any cute subreddit suggestions would be appreciated since it's my first time on Reddit and I want to distract myself. Alright, well this one sounds like a mystery because honestly OP, whatever is going on here in the background, it has nothing to do with Lotion. Or at least I believe that like 99% of it has nothing to do with Lotion. I don't know if Lotion is some sort of a trigger for your husband, but you don't sound like the person that would make jokes about that kind of stuff. So I have to say, I don't know what's going on here. Either you're leaving out information from the story, which I really hope you're not, or something is going on with your husband that you absolutely know nothing about. So instead of beating yourself up about Lotion Man, which I have to say, I think is kinda cute, you need to figure out what is going on here. You need to sit down with your husband and talk to him. But not in a apology kind of way that you would need to say, "I'm sorry for whatever it is I did." No, you need to ask him, "What the hell, man?" He got up without saying anything, went over to his brother's place to think about things. And that's all you know. I'm sorry, OP, but to me, that's not good enough. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Revolutionary Hat 1790 says, maybe the problem is that you refuse to see the actual problem? Stop saying lotion man. This clearly has nothing to do with effing lotion. I think you're in denial about how problematic your relationship really is. Clearly, it's not that great if he's packing up and leaving in the middle of what you're describing as a normal interaction. Nidorino Beano says, that's a pretty extreme reaction, and it sounds like you didn't do anything wrong. You should perhaps stop texting, see what he says tomorrow. You need to find out why this caused this reaction, and he should be the one apologizing to you. And Opie responds, I'm going to hush up for the night and see what he says in the morning. If I crossed a line, I'm more than willing to apologize, I just want him back. Yada Yada 29 says, I think he's probably sick of the childish BS and he decided the next time you pulled some stupid crap that he was going to be done. I feel certain that he's probably brought this up 1,000 times before and this was his last straw. Additional information from Opie's comments. Things have been honestly really good for a while, better than they've almost ever been. I hope he's willing to open up. I just can't help but think it was because of the lotion, because he's been his same good old self for a while now and nothing comes to mind. But of course, he might be at his breaking point for something else that I'm completely in the dark about. He and I know I'm not good at detecting social cues or anything, so I'm going to try and gently nudge him about it tomorrow. I wonder if I should go to Tyler's place. I want to have a solid face-to-face conversation, but he mentioned he needs space, so I'm torn. Alright, well the community had different opinions and that's because there's some information missing. So now let's move on to the first update to see where this story continues and get a little bit more context. But before that, here's another one of my playlists that only has stories with updates. Now let's move on. Hey Reddit, again. I posted here earlier about how my husband left after I told him a dumb joke. So I followed the advice I got and kept my distance. You all had me really pondering about how much of my relationship was the butterflies and kittens I thought it was. I still firmly believe that everything was absolutely perfect before it happened, but oh well, I have my opinions. Also, you guys were right about some things and wrong about some things. For those of you saying that the lotion thing had nothing to do with it, you were kinda wrong. But for the people who said something happened during the lunch outing, you were right on the money. My husband came back the other day. He apologized and said he was ready to talk to me. I obliged. I tried my best not to be all over him, but quite frankly, I missed this man so damn much. He's my husband after all. He told me the following. I mentioned previously that we went out with our two newly engaged friends, Kai, 30 male, and Marie, 29 female. We did have some quality time with all four of us, but often one or more people were missing from the table, considering it was a fusion buffet and the food was amazing. Apparently, at some point, my husband and Marie grabbed some food together, or maybe before we left, since I know I was talking to just Kai for a while before they appeared and we got to the car. Whatever it was, they were alone together. Marie, the fiancée, told my husband that when Kai proposed, she realized she was in love with him, my husband. Though she accepted Kai's proposal and tried to put her feelings to rest by organizing a lunch out. Though apparently she was charmed or some BS because she asked him to run away with her or something. I don't know, but she wanted him to leave me and be with her. Now, Marie is honestly gorgeous, which I hate to say because I'm so pissed off with her. She's the typical blonde, blue-eyed, skinny pageant girl who looks kind of like Emma Watson. I'm not. My husband gently turned her down and wished her all the best, but he says he had her on his mind for a while. We were all college friends, so we know one another very well. And when I showed him Lotion Man, it all essentially exploded inside him. I had a hair towel and some crappy old clothes on and I was giggling over a stupid thing, and apparently my immaturity ticked him off over to however the hell Marie was. He got sudden cold feet about our relationship and left for his brother's place. He eventually came back and said he loved me all over again. I was frozen in shock and asked some questions before asking him to sleep on the couch at least for that night. He did, and it didn't really help me sleep. I can't believe it, honestly, that he was considering crapping away all of our relationship for a crush. The more I think about it, the less I can look him in the eye. We went to Thanksgiving lunch together with some of his family plus some close friends, and we spent last night together, so I think he thinks he's in the clear. I can't lie and say I'm not considering just forgiving and forgetting though. He comes home from work 6 hours from now, and I don't know what to do next. I have off today, I'm a teacher, so I'm considering either contacting Kai and telling him about what his fiancée is up to. My husband begged me not to, as Marie was apparently making a spontaneous mistake. Or contacting Marie and chewing her out for trying to F up my relationship, or having a civil conversation, less tempting, but it's whatever. Or contacting Tyler, his brother, and asking if he left the house at some point. Tyler's house is very close to Marie's place, and I'm very worried about that, though I doubt I'll get anything out of him, or all of the above. Any advice or well wishes, because I'm not in a great place right now, would be appreciated. I wish I could just forget it all. Thanks, Reddit. OP's edit. Couples counseling sounds like a great idea. It didn't even come to me. Thank you for your awesome feedback. I just sent Kai a text to call me tomorrow, so I won't put off telling him, since I know I might chicken out. Alright, so now we have a lot more context to the story. And I gotta say, it does not make the husband look any better at all. Anyways, let's now move on to the final update to see what OP ended up doing and how this story ends. Hey Reddit, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for the overwhelming support and sweet messages. I honestly was not expecting this. A lot of you guys also took the time to message me, and I had a lot of great conversations with fellow Redditors. I'm honestly so flattered by how freaking sweet so many of you guys are. I wish I could have replied to every single one of your comments. I upvoted every one of them though. A lot of you had said some really interesting theories, lol, and surprisingly, most of them were somewhat right. The majority ruled that I should do all three: confront Kai, Marie, husband, and Tyler, not necessarily in that order. And so I had to get smart with it, since a lot of you guys told me that any one of them could twist the story had they known there was outside influence. Before I begin, yes, the full story is wacky and honestly doesn't make that much sense. I'm honestly just piecing it together via context clues, and I do have some questions left unanswered. Plus, nobody who is relaying this story is in a good headspace, and to you, it might just seem like a ton of garbled nonsense. I'm just hoping it gets across, since I know a lot of people wanted closure on this. When my husband came home, we had a conversation. He essentially said the same story, and he told me he was open to my marriage counseling suggestion. I gave him a big hug and did the laundry. Usually, we split the laundry. Plus, I had been giving him a little cold shoulder. So I indirectly forgave him, in his eyes at least. We haven't really set boundaries with our phones, like we know each other's passwords and everything, but he would definitely get suspicious if I was just scrolling around it. So instead, I agreed to meet up with Kai first. A lot of you guys were concerned that he would tell Marie and everything would implode, but Kai is a big gym nut and I've been wanting to go recently, so I said it as casually as possible, using it as an excuse. He agreed. The next morning, I met with Kai. I sat down with him and told him all I know. Yes, I cried like a baby. Originally, Kai was rigid and tried to kindly poke holes in what I was saying with a few gotcha questions before he, too, broke down. Marie didn't tell him a word. That was a big red flag on its own. I then went to Marie with Kai. A few Redditors told me to be as discreet as possible, and so, as a suggestion said, I just blurted to her that I know everything. She played dumb at first and then eventually broke. You all were right. Marie, trying to settle her crush, was a BS story. My husband was the one who approached her. She told me that he asked her before she sealed it with Kai if she wanted to have a night with him and another woman. Here's the kicker. Marie said yes. But wait, I hate to say it, that's not all. Apparently, Marie has been cheating on Kai for a while, with men and women, and my husband has also been cheating, frequently. They covered for each other and occasionally met up. At the last moment, she declined because she wanted to be loyal to Kai now that they were engaged, as if she wasn't cheating for the majority of their relationship. And he, my husband, got all pissed off for a while before saying he's just locked in his apartment now. Cue me showing him Lotion Man, he snaps and gets out of there. Kai and Marie are both arguing in tears and red in the face. I said sorry that I butted into their relationship and that I'll handle my husband myself. Then I went to find Tyler. He told me yes, his brother stopped by, but only around 11 p.m. He left our home at around 8, so those 3 hours went F all. Tyler told me that he was angry and didn't tell me anything. I then tell him some context, just the lotion man, and he says that maybe he was driving around for a while. It doesn't sound like my husband to drive as relief, but I'm willing to look into it since the future was already looking pretty effing bleak. I went home, I googled something on my husband's phone. Instead, I was just checking if any of them had contacted him. Nothing, thankfully. I would have gone into more depth, but that would have to wait. Instead, I tried to keep him busy for the duration of the day. Remember how I said he sleeps really early? Well, that worked in my favor. Took his phone that night while he was snoring his ass off. Ran into a million dead ants. I knew I was missing something, but I just couldn't find it. Finally, I opened his hidden photos. Kaboom! His whole story explodes into pieces. What did I find? Nudes, nudes, more nudes, even more nudes. All of one girl. Not me, shocker. But not Marie either. I don't recognize her. Let's call her Allison, considering Allison was my second grade best friend who was actually a snake. They're not the same person, just so I can call her something when I refer to her in the story because I don't actually know her name. She's absolutely gorgeous. Red hair, hourglass figure, you name it. I'm obviously broken. I traced her back to his contacts. I feel sick and there it is, an affair. He's been contacting her since February, days before I surprised him with a Valentine's Day thing that I had been using up my paychecks for and thinking I was the luckiest woman alive. It effing sucks. I can't even read anymore, but I toughed through it. Then I hit it. November 3rd. 2 days after the last nude. She's pissed off. She found out he was married all along. She was in love with him. I would feel bad for her, but she didn't even bother trying to contact me out of love. Ergo, hubby has a genius idea. He told Allison that he'll bring his wife over to a hotel to show that his wife doesn't care about the affair. Sound familiar? So I assume when Marie cancelled, there was nothing he could do. He became whiny and begged her to come. He told Allison that there was an inconvenience and that they'd meet up another day. Then the lotion man. He got pissed off at me and left. I don't know what he did after that, but whatever it was, he wasn't with either of them. Then he went to Tyler's place, slept it off, and came back afterward. I'll spare you the details, but I couldn't even pretend to like him anymore after I found that out. I brought Kai and Marie over the next morning. He started effing blubbering and tried to deny it all before eventually admitting he was into redheads. Marie is actually strawberry blonde and Allison is very ginger, and it was the one desire of his I couldn't fulfill. Even I could see past his BS saying that he loved only me and that being with Allison or Marie only made him love me more. I just said F it and packed my stuff. He got more desperate, but even I, the girl who was honestly infatuated with him, knew it was over. He technically owns the apartment, so I had to leave. Now I'm staying with Kai. He's as hurt as I am. I feel for him too. His wife was his world. We were hugging and crying for a while, ranting about God knows what, just trying to get ourselves together, to be honest. He tried to lighten the mood by making lunch and it was really nice. He's a wonderful cook. I showed him the other 2 posts and he got a kick out of some of your comments. As far as I know, my soon-to-be ex-husband is with Marie for now. I don't care about either of them and honestly, it's kind of therapeutic just having some kind of closure and not walking on eggshells as I have been for the past few days. Kai and I are going to the gym tomorrow to do some relaxing yoga and hopefully figure out what to do next. We've both taken off from work. I'm sorting out my finances and hopefully I should get the ball rolling to finally, legally split from my husband and be able to call him my ex. I'm still so frazzled. I have at least half a dozen pictures of him and me on my desk and our wedding picture is my lock screen on pretty much all of my devices. I know my students will notice his sudden disappearance from my life, and I'll have to tell them that the guy I've been raving about for the past forever is divorcing me. I'll have to tell all my family and friends. Kai is my rock in this whole thing and we'll eventually have to part ways, which hurts me because he's honestly my #1 support system in all of this. Living arrangements, actual divorce costs, law stuff, yuck. Therapy, I still have a lot to go through. I can't believe I thought the relationship was perfect. It's really therapeutic to just write this all down. But Reddit, thank you so much. I've already talked about how much support I received, but honestly, some of your guys' honesty and compliments have, for lack of better emphasis, honestly saved my life. I would have been with cheating scum and Kai would have been too. Extended from OP's comments. I've now told my family and friends that we're divorcing due to his infidelity, and a lot of them have told me they stopped contacting him. They were very vocal about their opinions. Lol. But Kai and I got tested for STDs yesterday and we're still waiting for the results. As far as I know, Marie had more partners than my soon-to-be ex, so I'm really worried for Kai. But he assures me he's physically feeling fine and whatever happens, happens. Also, I have been going to the gym a lot. I feel like I can vent out my stress there in some way. I'm still searching for apartments, though Kai has told me that he's more than willing to have me as his roommate if I can't find anything, paying less rent than you normally find around here for his apartment size. Thank you again, Reddit. Well, OP, it's not a happy update because of your scummy husband, but it is a positive update because you found out the truth about your scummy husband. Of course it sucks, OP, but like you say, now you have closure, so you can start moving forward. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best in the future. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.